All right, Shalom. I want to start by saying, Call HALAL, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles of Israel, aka the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akin. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. All right, real quick. So, came across piece of info. Now, there was an earthquake in Russia, and the magnitude was a 7.8, and it was in Russia's far east region, and it prompted even a tsunami alert. And that's what the article reads. This is from Al Jazeera. There's a picture. I used a picture for the thumbnail. It's from Al Jazeera, and it says magnitude 7.8 quake shakes Russia's far east region, prompt tsunami alert. Right. So it says a magnitude 7.8 earthquake has struck the Kamchatka region in Russia's far east, and what the U.S. Geological Survey has called an aftershock from a massive earlier quake in July. Now, I never heard of I ain't know aftershocks came that late, but this is what the U.S. Geological Survey says. Right now, keep in mind, there's another article I want to bring out about Russia, and that's around the same time and same region, that makes me think otherwise, that it wasn't just an aftershock from an earthquake in July, but that it was something else, and something a little more diabolical, if you will. Because right now the nations are preparing for war, and it has something to do around those lines. All right? It said the quake early on Friday, which is this past Friday, triggered a series of tsunami warnings in the region, but despite waves reaching some shores, there were no reports of damage. It said the U.S. Geological Survey said the quake was caused by shallow reverse faulting at a depth of 10 kilometers, which is 6.2 miles, and was followed by a series of aftershocks measuring up to a magnitude of 5.8. It says Russia's emergency ministry said the quake had a magnitude of 7.2. Kamchatka Regional Governor Vladimir Solodov said all emergency services have been placed in a state of high readiness, but no damage have been reported so far. So this 7.8 earthquake, but there was no damage. Now, I know, like, earthquakes, usually when, like, earthquakes, especially this magnitude, happen, there's a lot of damage. And I'm gonna spoil this. Is a spoiler. There's another article that says that Russia tested their nuclear submarine tested some supersonic missiles in this same area around the same time. So what really caused the earthquake? Now you got the U.S. ain't gonna say that. Like, oh, well, Russia just tested a nuclear sub and that's what caused the earthquake. Because you gotta remember, a couple months ago, I believe June, July, or August, one of those months, Iran had an earthquake, and around that same time, Iran tested a nuke. They said that it was alleged Iran possibly tested a nuclear weapon underground. Now here all of a sudden with Russia, these Shalom be more. All of a sudden with Russia, the motherfucking there's an earthquake, and then on top of that, coincidentally, they tested some supersonic missiles around that same region. It says the morning is once again testing the resilience of this morning, which I guess Friday morning says, or Saturday morning says, this morning is once again testing the resilience of Kamchatka residents, Solodov wrote on the Telegram messaging app. Immediately after the earthquake, we began a rapid inspection of social institutions and residential buildings. A tsunami warning was issued for the eastern shore of the peninsula, jutting far out into the Bering Sea and Pacific Ocean. Other officials reported tsunami waves of 30 to 62 centimeters, 1 to 2 feet, at various points along the coast of the peninsula. A tsunami warning was also issued for parts of Kuril Island chain, north of Japan, the emergency ministry said. And they had an earthquake in July that was 8.8. Now, that earthquake happened, so now what we're going to do, let's get. So, this is from September 19th, too. This is from Newsweek. It says, Russian nuclear submarines test supersonic missiles in North Pacific. Now, this is the same time this earthquake happened. Now, I'm not saying nothing about nothing. But what I am saying is that it's awfully ironic it's awfully ironic that there was an earthquake, an 8.8 earthquake, around the same time, an 8.8 earthquake happened, and around the same time, you had these motherfuckers. What it says, Russian nuclear submarines test supersonic missiles in North Pacific, which is also from September 19th. Let's read this. So it says, Russia's Pacific Fleet said 2 of its nuclear-powered submarines had conducted a successful test of supersonic cruise missiles fired from the Sea of Okhotsk, which struck naval targets more than 155 miles away. The exercise flexes Russia's military muscle in the region shared by the United States and comes as tensions heighten between Moscow and Washington over ending the Russia-Ukraine war that began in February 2022. The Kremlin has described U.S.-led NATO as at war with Russia. The U.S. has also highlighted what it says is growing threat from Russian and Chinese military cooperation across regions of the Pacific and Arctic. Russia and China recently completed their first joint submarine patrol of the Asia-Pacific. It said the Russia's Krasnoyarsk on Friday. Now, this is the same time this earthquake happened, that they tested these, a nuclear submarine tested these supersonic missiles. And they said it went what? What it said? It says it struck naval targets more than 155 miles away. It says the combat exercises were carried out as a part of a command and staff exercise with the Joint Command of Forces. Now, why didn't the U.S. Geological Survey talk about those missiles that were tested, man? That could have been a possible reason why that earthquake happened. Because, like, to me, it just seemed too coincidental that these motherfuckers tested some missiles, and in the same region you had a major ass earthquake, and the same thing happened in Iran. There was an earthquake in Iran, and then it was thrown out there that Iran tested a nuclear weapon underground. Now, if they tested missiles like that and they're underground, would it not seem like an earthquake is happening? But whatever. Or even if they overground, it won't seem like an earthquake is happening. So it says the combat exercises were carried out as part of a command and staff exercise with the Joint Command of Forces in the northeast of Russia aimed at protecting and defeating maritime communications in the northern Pacific Ocean, the coast of Kamchatka and Chukotka, as well as the island zone, the post said originally in Russian. The P-800 Onyx is a supersonic anti-ship cruise missile. The P-700 Grenade is a heavy supersonic long-range anti-ship cruise missile. Most cruise missiles are subsonic, but Russia is one of a handful of nations to have developed supersonic cruise missiles, which can travel faster than Mach 1, the speed of sound. They are typically used against ships. Now, isn't there a bunch of whole U.S. nuclear submarine ships in that region, the Pacific, Middle East, so on and so forth? Don't you have Iran, China, Russia, North Korea all in league with together, getting their arms ready to go to war with the U.S. and NATO? Now, here where it gets good, right? No, that was Sunday, yesterday. Either Sunday or Saturday night, but I think it was yesterday. I came across the article. Well, I came across the earthquake thing a couple days ago. That was probably Friday. And I looked up, so is Russia, I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna Google it right now, just so, you know what I mean? I Googled and said, is Russia's Far East close to the Pacific? I'm about to do that right now. Oops. Fuck. Is Russia's Far East Oops. Hold up. So this is AI's overview. I just went in Google. This is AI's overview. It says I put what the fuck? Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is AI overview in Google. Is Russia's Far East close to the Pacific? Now remember, they tested those missiles and they said the North Pacific, I believe, and the earthquake happened in the Far East, or vice versa. I forget. So it says, yes, Russia's Far East is directly on the Pacific Ocean. It is the easternmost part of Russia and the Asian continent. Remember, Russia is technically part of Asia, bordering the Pacific Ocean and including the Kamchatka, which is also mentioned in those articles, Peninsula Sakhalin Island, and the Kuril Islands. The region also has maritime borders with Japan and the United States, and its cities such as Vladivostok are located on the Pacific coast. So that's proof that really earthquake happened and these missiles were tested is in the same area. The Far East and the the North Pacific, I think. So now you have it that those is in the same region, same area, and around the same time. This past weekend, you had an earthquake, a 7.8 earthquake, and then ironically, you had Russia nuclear submarines testing supersonic missiles, 2 of them. And they said they shot naval targets 155 miles away. It said key aspects of Russia's Pacific coastline. It says direct access. The Russia's Far East Pacific coast provides direct access to the Pacific Ocean, which is a crucial geographical feature of the region. It says this region includes the Kamchatka Peninsula, Sakhalin Island, and the Kuril Islands, all of which are on or near the Pacific. And it says Russia shares maritime borders with Japan and the United States across the Bering Strait, further confirming its connection to the Pacific. The region is a strategic gateway to the Pacific with significant military and economic interests tied to the west to the vast ocean. Military and economic interests to the vast ocean, the Pacific Ocean. So yeah, around that area in that time frame, you had an earthquake, a 7.8 earthquake, and then you had Russia nuclear submarine test 2 supersonic missiles. So what does that sound like? What does that sound like? That sounds like they're preparing for war. Hold up, let me get that real quick. I ain't gonna make this too long. I just wanted to bring that up because look, that's very cool. And you know the American government, that U.S. Geological Survey, they could have easily. Why did they say that? Why didn't they talk about how that could be connected to the earthquake? I mean, it's in the same region. It's in the same region, the same area, around the same time. But we're conspiracy theorists. But whatever. So this is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9, and it says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. And that's what these nations are doing. That's what Russia's doing. That's what the United States is doing. That's what China is doing. That's what North Korea is doing. That's what all these nations are doing. They're preparing for war. They're getting ready. They're beating their plowshares into swords. The weak are saying that they are strong. Iran, North Korea, all these countries that wasn't really big talks, big boys in the big boy game. But now everybody got nukes. Everybody got militaries. Everybody's gathering their arms, man. And I'm reading that in NLT. It says, Joel 3 and 9. In the NLT, it says, say to the nations far and wide, get ready for war. And that's what they're doing. That's what Putin is doing. That's what Russia's doing. Everybody's testing missiles. They're testing things, testing their defenses, building more. You got America talking about they're building a Golden Dome. You got troops being deployed left and right. You got actual wars still going on. Russia and Ukraine are still fighting. They said Russia just did a major attack not too long ago. You still got the thing with the small hats and Gaza. You got the civil unrest all throughout the earth. Earthquakes, along with wars and rumors of war tied to one article. You got an economic collapse about to come. You got people losing jobs, the grind is ceasing. You got the whole new system coming to play, the MOTB. a whole global reset as far as the financial structure of this kingdom, of Esau's kingdom. He about to cause all, both small and great, rich and poor, to receive a mark in their right hand. It's all leading down to what is prophecy, man. These are all prophecies. These are all prophecies coming to pass as we speak every day. Every day, every hour, every minute, every second. And it's not going to stop, and it's not going to let up. It's only going to intensify, man. It's only going to get worse and worse and worse. Verse 10 of Joel chapter 3, it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I'm stronger. You remember, Russia back in the day, like in the early, years ago, they wasn't talking how they're talking now, but now they're what? They're getting back to that Soviet Union, that USSR state of mind. So they're getting that whole region together with them. But who you have going against the grain? Ukraine. No pun intended. They're going against the grain. They're trying to be down with NATO. But now, look what's happening with that. And now you even got the small heads. You got the small heads in Israel. Talk about now they talking shit to China. Talk about China is hiding Hamas there. So I'm reading that in NLT. It says, hammer your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Train even your weaklings to be warriors. And that's what everybody's doing. They all deploying more troops. They're going to be drafting more troops, enlisting more men. You got America talking about they about to do a draft. So they possibly could do a draft. And this is all happening in front of our very eye. This is all happening in real time. And you got a lot of especially Americans that are completely oblivious to what's going on and think that it's just going to be just stuff happening around them. It's just going to be, oh yeah, that's happening over there, that's happening over there, but it's never going to come here. But here it is, America is involved in all of this shit. So why wouldn't this soil eventually get attacked? And it's going to get ugly, man. Verse 11, this is Joel chapter 3, verse 11. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither calls thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Assemble yourselves. And that's what these nations are doing. Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, Pakistan, America, NATO, Europe, Russia with the Hamite countries in Africa. Everybody's assembling themselves to what? To get ready for war. Exactly how the Lord said they would do. After what? After what? After the prophets prophesied they were going to do it. And now the Lord has these prophecies unfolding, and now the end is speaking for itself. Because sooner or later, we're not going to need to speak, because the end is going to speak entirely. The prophecies is going to speak, and they're speaking louder and louder every day. To the point to where your brothers don't got to be out camping for multiple hours. Brothers do their couple hours. Brothers do the sit downs and all that, and then it's quiet. You got to endure the bullshit still in this world and this devil's kingdom in captivity. Still got to go to work. Still got to pay bills. But at the end of the day, this is all going to come to this system is coming to an end. This kingdom is coming to an end, and everybody knows it. Everybody sees it. It's just that they don't want to admit it. It's pride. So this is verse 12, and it says, let the heathen be wakened and come into the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. And that's what's about to happen. Hey, 2 Esdras, the 13th chapter. The great multitude are going to fight against the Son of Man, the Son of God, YAHAWASHI. Remember, when YAHAWASHI comes back, the nations are going to fight against him. I mean, what else are they going to do? They're not going to welcome him with open arms. How could they? Because they're going to see him delivering the Israelites, the same nation they've been oppressing all this time. All you nations, not just Esau, all you nations, Moab, Ishmael, Elam, Ammon, all you motherfuckers, man. The Lord gonna get all of you. And that's what, and the Lord has all of you getting ready to nuke each other. And then he's gonna come with his fire, and he's gonna come with his judgment. And then that's when all the earth will know that there is a God in Israel, and his name is YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. All the kings of the earth shall shut their mouths at him. That's right, all you nations, all the mighty men of these nations, the Lord said, well, he's going to make even a speedy riddance. He said it's going to be an indignation against the nation's armies. Great slaughter. Matter of fact, where was that at? Hold up. Bring that out real quick. I think it was that. Yeah, here we go. I'm going to go straight to it. So this is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 1, verse 14, and it reads, "The great day of the Lord is near. It is near, and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly." The mighty man shall cry there bitterly. All these soldiers, these top gun motherfuckers, army, army strong, so top cadets. You say you're ready for anything, right? You think these nations really ready for Yahawashi and the angels he come with from the heavens armies? You see what that chariot did to the that hellfire missile? They said it split it in half. All these chariot sightings, they said it, all these chariot sightings, and now it's so much now, so they gotta have these hearings about it. They had one a couple months ago, then they had one not too long ago, like a few weeks ago. Yeah, whistle blowing. But the prophet's been blowing the whistle. The prophet's been blowing the horn, man. Telling you what these things mean and what it represents, and it's prophecy, man. See, these government officials, all these motherfuckers, they're not going to say that nothing about no prophecy, man. They're just fulfilling prophecy with their actions. But the prophets have said it with their mouths. The Lord said what? The prophets I spoke by what? My servants, the prophets. So the men of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI have been prophesying these things before they started happening. We're talking about 50 plus years. And you want to talk about YouTube, almost 30. No, excuse me, almost 20. Because, again, 2007, I think. So when 2027 hit, that's going to be 20 years on the YouTube, which when a lot of this truth went up and a lot of brothers were awakened, around the time I was awakened, around 2008, 2009, you had a lot of brothers coming to the truth at that time. And then after that, you had what? And more stuff just started happening, more and more. And then we hit 2020. And ever since 2020 to now, man, it's been a roller coaster of prophecies, man. Anyway, so I'm reading that in NLT. It says, "That terrible day of the Lord is near. Swiftly it comes. A day of bitter tears." Now, that sounds like something good. It says a day of bitter tears, a day when even strong men will cry out. So if you're not strong in the spirit of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, that's going to apply to you, whether you be in the service or not. These tough guys, these gangsters, all that, walking around here, they're thinking they can't be touched, they're going to cry bitterly in that day. This is Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 15. It says, "That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness." And we go into the NLT, it says, "It will be the day when the Lord's anger is poured out." That fire, man. That nuclear fire, that fire Yahawashi come with, that's the Lord's anger. Remember, our God is consuming fire. That's his main element that that's the main element he's going to use. It says, "It will be the day when the Lord's anger is poured out, a day of terrible distress and anguish, a day of ruin and desolation." That America's going to be ruined. It's going to be a ruin. It's going to be a desolation, man. This place, remember, Babylon the Great shall not be inhabited once it's destroyed. This place is going to be a memorial for where wickedness dwelled and what the Lord's wrath and judgment did because of it. Verse 16, it says, "A day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers," against the fenced cities, gated communities. But what's ultimately the fenced city? America. America's never even been attacked. The fenced city, man, these places that think they're well protected. Hey, the Vatican. You think Yahawashi not going to go there? Remember, it's going to be a sweep of the earth. It's going to be a whole... Yahawashi is actually going to bring a righteous global reset. A righteous global reset. That's what Yahawashi, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ, is coming to bring. You got these pastors, you got these churches talking about, oh, the Lord is going to save everybody, even these wicked-ass motherfuckers, man. Here it is, they've been on the earth, not doing anything worth it than to be delivered. Even our own people. Most of our people are going to be destroyed over here. The one that's left over here. Ain't going to... Man, it's going to be crazy. It's verse 16 in the NLT of Zephaniah chapter 1. It says, "A day of trumpet calls and battle cries. Down go the walled cities. and the strongest battlements, man. Hey, all these U.S. bases, these military bases of these nations, man. You see that the chariots, so-called UAP signings have been around a lot of military bases. What's that about? Verse 17, it says, and I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. And in the NLT it says, because you have sinned against the Lord. Hey, that's talking to Israel first. Because you have sinned against the Lord, I will make you grope around like the blind. Remember, blind people gotta, like, you know, all that. It says, I'll make you grope around like the blind. Your blood will be poured into the dust, and your bodies will lie rotting on the ground. Because remember what's going to happen? What's going to be the first order of business? They got to bury these bodies. Sir, continual employment. Verse 18 of Zephaniah chapter 1, and it reads, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. So your money is not going to deliver you in the day of the Lord's wrath. Only people that's being delivered is the elect of the nation of Israel. There's no elect of no other nation. So all the people that might look like other nations, those are still Israelites by the spirit and by the bloodline, which go hand in hand. Because the spirit was given to the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Period. If you don't come from those three men, you don't have no chance of salvation. You better just hope you don't come from Abraham, Isaac, and Esau. All right? You even got a lot of our people that look like our people, but they're Edomites or they're of the other nations. They're not going to be delivered either. So it says, neither shall their silver nor their gold be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. What whole land is going to be devoured by the fire of his jealousy? America, Babylon the Great. The Lord said this whole land is going to be destroyed and never inhabited again. It says, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. They're all going to be burned, and that fire is going to burn quick. Remember, it says an hour, this place is going to be completely annihilated. So I'm reading down the NLT. It says, Zephaniah 1:18 in NLT, your silver and gold will not save you on that day of the Lord's anger, for the whole land will be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. He will make a terrifying end of all the people on the earth. So all the people that don't receive salvation, all the people that's especially left in America, hey, the people that's in Israel, those small hats, but that land's going to be inhabited again. But the way it is now, it got to be completely devoured by fire too. The fire of what? The Lord jealousy. So call law YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. Because it's going to happen. And they're not going to tell you that in the churches, man. They're going to make it seem like, oh, everything's okay. There ain't nothing to worry about. Go by the president, just everything's good. Everything's fine. Everything is not fine, man. Everything is not fine. Everything is fucked up. But good for this place. This place is nothing but fuck our people over. I'm talking about the Israelites. So you ain't gonna get no sympathy from this way. And it's the Lord doing it. The Lord said he was gonna break this place down. All right? Just like he built this place up, now he said it's time to break it down. It was just but for a season you were to rule, Esau. Hey, Shalom. Yeah, my phone overheated, but I was pretty much done at that. So with that, I'm gonna say Shalom.